Guys, and welcome back to another oh my god I'm bored at home episode of the Last Game Hunter. Today we're going to unbox the Gigabyte AORUS X570 Elite motherboard. One thing that I have to say right off the bat, as you guys know, I have other boards from Gigabyte from the AORUS line, and up there like the X470 Ultra, of course being the higher end of the line, but one thing I noticed a change in their boxes for this year, the X570 line have a nice bumpy texture to the box. That got me right there. Alright guys, so we're going to take this, we're going to open box it, we're going to look it over, and I'm going to talk about the pros, the cons, right out of the box. Of course, this is just going to be an open box video to show you if you're looking to buy the AORUS Elite motherboard, X570 series of course, then this could be the board for you, as this board fits in around the $290 to $300 area. So this would be, in my opinion, the lowest form of an X570 board that you should get. Okay, so right off the bat, of course, as I talked about, was this beautiful texture on this box. I know that seems stupid to talk about, but it's a little something that's an attention to some detail. It just gives you that, you know, out of the box cooler feeling. It lets you know that you bought something a little better than what you would have expected. So let's open it up. Okay, so before we get into the board, let's take a look at what actually comes with it. So you got a couple little trap doors here, or I think maybe it's just a pull-out. It's just a pull-out. In the box you have your multilingual installation guide. Your very beautiful AORUS booklet. Now, one thing that's cool about this, I know they still come with the CD. When you think about it, with Windows 10, you don't use this, but if you weren't using Windows 10, you're using Windows 7 or something, that's really cool. Of course, you get an extra screw for any M.2s that you're adding to the board. SATA cables, and of course what I'm liking now, one, the lock clips are included with all their SATA cables. Now I know it's almost pretty standard now, and the right-angled connector, which, because most case builds now the hard drives are in the back, or they're in an area where you could hide the wire much better by using an angled connector. Oh, there. Extra screw for your M.2. I don't know if that's showing up on camera. It's that tiny thing right there. And the one thing I love, pretty much every manufacturer does this now, the Gigabyte 6 connector. It's just so you can plug in all your connectors, plug it into the board, and never have to worry about, oh, where does that go? Just plug it into the board. It can only really go one way in most cases. And, oh, that's interesting. So with this board, they actually gave me 2 sets of SATA cables. I'm happy because this is actually my first time opening it as well. And this is going to be the board going in my main system. So, there's always that nice sound. Okay, so right off the bat, a few things that I noticed just to quickly brought to my attention here is their RAM slots are not reinforced with the metal, and the PCI Express slot is not reinforced by the extra metal. On my X470 Ultra board, they are. I think the RAM slots are not. I'm not 100% there, but I'm pretty sure I would have remembered that. So that's something different right there. Now on the X470 Ultra board, there is 3 of these. So there's one down here. I think that's not necessary at all anymore. So having the 2 PCI Express slots here is more important to me than having a 3rd full-size PCI Express. So you have 2 M.2s, and just like the Ultra actually, this one only has 1 heatsink included. which is funny because my B450, I believe it's a B450 Pro Wi-Fi board, actually has 2 heatsink covers included. In fact, that's probably one of the most loaded boards I've ever seen in my life. So unlike any of the other boards, we're back to the cooling off the chipset here. That is one thing I'm not a fan of, because these things in the past were always known to give trouble, get dirty, gum up, stop turning, and boom, your board's dead. So something I want to monitor, maybe down the road if they come up with like a liquid cooling system to add here and go right across, might be an option or something that I might actually think about. And at the same time, I don't know what's going to be more reliable, a fan or a liquid cooler. So on this board, unlike some of the higher end 570s, you only have your 8-phase. So some of them now are coming with 2 8s or an 8 and a 4, and that's, I'm guessing, to supply more power to the PCIe 4.0. Not 100% on that, something I got to look into. But overall, I mean, pretty board, no doubt about that. You have fan headers are pretty decent. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the other ones? I believe there was one down here, or maybe not. So 4. It's starting to get a little slim on the fan headers compared to, I think I had 6 or 5 on my other one. So there's something that's different, but at the same time, this is the Elite, not the Ultra. I'd have to see another category or priced board in this category to see if that's comparable. Your USB 3.0 or USB-C, sorry, is a better way to put it, I guess. So like if you had the Dark 900, that's where you would hook up your charging plate, or USB-C front headers, which I believe on my new build will actually have the front header. Beautiful power bridge here. I'm actually always been impressed with Gigabyte for that. I love their very clean layout, nice solid capacitors. The amp up audio, well done. I've always liked the way that looks. It just looks really, really sharp. So that's nicely in focus for you. I believe that, in my opinion, the layout here is actually better than the 470 Ultra, just for the simple reason that if I put a card here, of course that's useless, but I still have this slot. But will I put a card there? That's something I might be playing around with for fun. I don't know if it'll actually stay there. I normally don't add cards anymore unless I get something like a internal Elgato or something like that. So on the bottom here, of course, you have your, that's where all your interfaces hook up, your power, your reset, hard drive activity lights, and so on and so forth. That clip that I talked about, the 6 clip, goes in there, boom. USB 3.0 header, USB 3.0 header. So there's 2 on the board, which is actually the same as my X470. I keep referring to the X470 Ultra only because I had that board, and this kind of would be, like, in my opinion, the model to go up from it, because they were in the same price point when I bought it, although it was extremely on sale, but it was in the same price point. Your USBs, regular ports right here, and your TPW, Q flash button right there. So just press that, boop, and Q flash. I'll explain, there actually is your white USB slot right here is for doing a Q flash. So if you have to flash your motherboard, you have no OS or anything, you can actually plug in here, hit that Q flash button apparently, and nicely done. So there's a brief overlook of the board. You have 6 SATA connections, which in my day and age now, that's more than enough. Usually I only put a couple M.2s in and I'm done, just to keep it clean and not see any wires. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 RGB headers, whether it be digital or the other connector, or I guess what you want to call addressable or not. Now on the back pane here, we have 4 regular 2.0s, your 3.1s, and your 3.2s, I believe. No, that's 3.1 and these are 3.0, I guess that's how it works now. The red ones are now 3.1s or 3.2s. Your gigabit LAN, fiber optic, and your 7.1 audio. HDMI, and I want to point this out again, HDMI is only needed or only used if you use a G processor. So if you don't use a G processor, that is a dud. That will not work. So guys, I hope you enjoy the board layout. If you're looking to buy this board, I'm going to build soon, so I'll be able to tell you what I think of it overall. But in my opinion, for the price point, this is probably one of the ways to go. I am a big Gigabyte fan. If anybody can sway me any other way, I'd like to see that, but so far it has not happened. I went Gigabyte years ago and have not looked back. You have it. It's a quick overview and open box of the X570 AORUS Elite from Gigabyte. I think the board is decent for its price point. I'm going to build with it, so my next build, my next machine is going to be powered by it, and I'm definitely looking forward to having fun powered by this board. I will let you know my thoughts on that when that time comes. If you have any questions or anything about this board, whether it just be a random question or a feature or anything like that, just comment below and I'll do my best to answer that question for you. So guys, thank you for watching. Till next time, Gigabyte. Till next time, game over.